This is AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. I have some weather for you. So in Windsor, we have 70 degrees, looking pretty nice out. Chance of thunderstorms later today. Fort Lupton, we have 71 degrees, also chance of rain pretty much all day. Lame. Loveland, we are 70 degrees, also lots of chances of rain. And in the Greeley, we have 69 degrees, sorry, I can't read, and lots of chances of rain today. Fabulous. So if you don't like rain and don't want to get soaked in rain, don't go outside, because it's not going to be a fun day today. I hope it goes away, honestly, because I like rain, but that's too much rain. Just I don't like getting wet outside in the rain. Like, I like looking at it, but now it's just too much. I can go like maybe a total of 7 days in a year that I can have rain. This is too much rain. I don't like. It looks nice, but now it's too much. And now it's in my way, and it's annoying. And I just kind of want to have summer, but then it gets really hot. So there's not like a happy medium with this weather. Anyway, so I've got my top 10 list coming up for you, my word of the day, and the song of the day. This is AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. This is AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. That was Picture Perfect by Sevendust. This is Anna. I'm going to tell you some cool things. So I've got my top 10 list of my favorite cartoons. I'm going to tell you that in a second. But my first, I'm going to do the word of the day. So this word is kind of a real word. It's an Urban Dictionary, so if you call that a real word, then you can. It's a slang term, I guess you could say. It's gnarly, N-A-R-L-Y, gnarly. I say it a lot. For me, I use it, like I say, it's like if something's terrific, excellent, something crazy or wild. It's like I'll say like, it's like those clouds look gnarly. Like if it's like a storm clouds or something, I just say it so much. So I figured I would share that lovely knowledge with you, so you can use that word. You can sound weird like I do, because people look at me funny when I say that. Anyway, so that's a really cool word. So that was my word of the day. So I'm going to get started my top 10 list. Start at number 10 of my favorite cartoons of all time. So most of these cartoons, almost all of them practically, were all in the 90s, because 90s cartoons are superior to literally anything else. You just can't go wrong with good cartoons. And I love watching cartoons because, like, when you're a kid, like, they're really entertaining and really fun to watch because it's cartoons. It's just what you watch. But when you get older, you finally understand all the jokes and everything behind it. And you're like, oh, I get that. And then you actually think it's funny. Anyway, so I'm going to start with my number 10. Number 10 is Pinky and the Brain. So if you don't know what Pinky and the Brain is, there were two mice. There were two lab mice. The one was really smart, Brain, and then Pinky was not very smart. And every night they tried to take over the world. And it was just kind of entertaining to see how they tried to take over the world, and they weren't horribly successful at it. But it's just fun to see the contrast of someone that's really smart and someone that's really not smart. Like, it's always such a fun contrast to see in, like, shows and cartoons and stuff. And I like the theme songs like Pinky and the Brain, Pinky and the Brain. One is madman, the other's insane. My mom used to sing that all the time. So I have it stuck in my head for probably the rest of my life. It's pretty great, though. But number 9 is Ren and Stimpy. I'm pretty sure everyone knows what that is. If you have not heard of Ren and Stimpy, I think you've been living under a rock. It was a weird and creepy show. I only put it on my list because I remember watching it and just being like, what? It's just, it's about, so if you don't know what it's about a chihuahua and a cat. The cat is just kind of like a happy-go-lucky, whatever, not smart, just kind of dumb. And Ren was the chihuahua, and he had like a huge temper and was really skinny and kind of creepy looking. I have a shirt that has them on it because they're cool. But it's just a creepy show. It was like kind of about like their everyday life, but each episode was just really weird. I have this one episode that I remember that, like, I don't remember how it went, but like Stimpy like got stuck in his belly button and then like met this monster dude that like wanted to keep him there forever. That show was a trip. It was crazy. Whoever wrote it was probably on all the drugs all the time, because it was a wicked show. I would call that gnarly. That show was gnarly, including my word of the day today. And then my number 8 of my best cartoons ever is Camp Lazlo. So this wasn't in the 90s. It was in 2005. It started July 8th, 2005. So it's about these campers, like these kids that were in a camp. And Lazlo was one of the campers at Camp Kidney Bean. And so it was Lazlo and his two friends, Clam and Raj. Raj was an elephant, and he was like super scared all the time, kind of like on the edge. And Clam was just like there. He's like that one character in every show that's just like, yeah, just kind of like the dumb character There's just like there, and it's like ridiculously strong. Although he was like a really tiny, skinny, like albino rhino. That rhymes. I just realized that rhymes. That's so great. But it was just such a funny show because it would like it goes through every day of them at that camp and like the things they do, and none of them are very smart, and they're like all like kids, and they would usually like they would sometimes interact with like the girls camp that was close by with like a similar group. It was just funny to watch because the jokes were funny and they just kind of did really weird and funny stuff. Anyway, so my number 7 is some people are going to say this isn't a cartoon, but I looked it up to make sure I could call it a cartoon. And some people call it a cartoon, some people call it anime. I'm going to call it a cartoon for my sake because I can. It's Digimon in 1992. It was one of my literal favorite things when I was a kid. When I had a birthday cake, I had it decorated in Digimon because I'm cool like that. Anyway. So it's basically, if you don't know what it is, because I think a lot of people don't know what it is, it came out before Pokemon. A lot of people think it ripped off of Pokemon, but I think they're similar but different in concept. So Digimon was that there was this digital world where creatures lived and they could it's kind of similar to Pokemon where they could like change, like they like evolved, but when they evolved they like stayed that way, or they didn't stay that way like in Pokemon. They like were temporarily evolved for whatever fighting they needed to do, and they helped save like the Digi world and the human world. And my favorite was the movie, the Digimon movie, and I'm blanking what the movie was called, but the movie was really good. I like the soundtrack in it too. It had some really good music in it. But yeah, it's just a really cool action-packed show. It wasn't as funny as like the rest of these are, but it was just a cool show. It was just entertaining to watch. So then my number 6 of the best cartoons ever is Tom and Jerry. You can't go wrong with old cartoons like Tom and Jerry. It's just a cat chasing a mouse. And honestly, as I get older, I support Tom. As a kid, I was like, yeah, go Jerry. Don't get caught. But it's like now it's like, poor Tom. He went through all this crap because of this one little mouse that had to make his life really hard. It's like Tom was just like, yeah, I'm going to catch that mouse and do my job because I'm a cat. And then Jerry's just like, no, you're going to go through all this pain and torment because I can. And it's just, I don't know, it was just funny because I guess I can call it slapstick humor. It's not really. But it's kind of funny to see them play cat and mouse. So I remember watching it as a kid and I was just like, yeah, it's like, that's hysterical. Along with the old cartoons, number 5 is Looney Tunes. If you don't like Looney Tunes, you can't say you like cartoons because it's the classic cartoons with Bugs Bunny, Porky Pig, Daffy Duck. My personal favorite was Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner because I kind of felt bad for Wile E. Coyote because he was just like, I want to eat this beautiful Roadrunner because there's nothing else out in this desert. I'm very hungry. And it's just funny to see. Like, in that specific cartoon, like, how in a lot of the cartoons, like Looney Tunes, like, gravity and, like, basic laws of physics don't apply, and just anything can happen. It's just kind of dumbly funny. Like, even there's, like, no dialogue, like, in some, like, Wile E. Coyote and the Roadrunner. It was still funny, though. Like, Looney Tunes, it was still just funny. Especially, like, Bugs Bunny just kind of did whatever he wanted. He's just like, yep, I'm going to make someone's life really hard because I can. And it was just really funny. If you don't like Looney Tunes, you can't like cartoons. That's it. Number 4. I know most people know what I'm going to be talking about with this one because this show was also on a trip. It was crazy. It's Courage the Cowardly Dog. I love this show. It's on Netflix, by the way, if you want to go watch it because I watched it and it's great. I watched all of it. I like the show just mainly because the idea of it is that this poor pink dog, I just think that it's funny that he's pink, but this poor dog is trying to save his owners from all these monsters because they're not smart enough to stop answering the door or stop doing really dumb things. It's like you live in the middle of nowhere, in nowhere, Kansas. Why would you answer the door in the middle of nowhere and expect someone nice to come up? It's just the adventures of Courage is really funny because he like saves Eustace and Muriel all the time, and Eustace isn't very nice to him, so I still don't understand why he saved him. But my favorite part of Courage Cowardly the Dog was the fact that Eustace always got what he deserved at the end of each episode. Like, whatever was going on in that episode, that happened to Eustace. Like, so that show was just so weird. Like, the very last episode is crazy. It's just like it's like the weirdest thing I've ever seen is the last couple episodes. It's just like whoever wrote this, it's like was either super creative or was just crazy. But I love that show. I think it's funny and kind of dumb. Number 3. I love the show because I think I really like one of these characters. I feel like I could be one of these characters. The Angry Beavers. So the Angry Beavers is about these 2 brother beavers that had to move out from their parents' dam because they had 2 more babies. So then they have to figure out how to live by themselves. And it's Daggett, And why am I forgetting the other name? I'll think of it here in a second. The storyline is just really funny because Daggett is not very smart, and he's just like, I'm trying, like, and neither beaver is smart, and they're trying to get through their daily lives, and they do like random things. Like this one episode, they go to like what should be like Waterworld, and it's Daggett and Norbert. I don't know why I forgot that. It's one of my favorite cartoons. But like they go to Waterworld, and Daggett steals Shamu, the killer whale. But it doesn't work out for them because it tries to eat them. And they're just not very smart. So it's just really fun to watch these two beavers trying to get their life together. My number 2, I love this show. It's fabulous. This is Ed, Edd, and Eddy. It's just so funny because when I watched it as a kid, I just thought it was funny because like they did funny things and like they got destroyed in every episode. And nothing ever worked in their favor, and they always tried to get money to go buy candy and stuff. But now as I watch it now that I'm older, I get a lot of the jokes. I think my favorite character out of the 3 of them is probably Ed, just because he's not very smart. He's just like buttered toast, and he's just there, and he like can do like physically impossible things. Like he could like lift up cars and like ram through fences and just be unscathed. And it's really funny to see the adventures of these 3 because nobody else likes them in their little cul-de-sac, so they're friends and they're trying to get all this money. He has a really short temper, so he gets really angry, in which I identify with him because I'm short. And then Ed, he's just not very smart, and he kind of just makes everyone's life really hard, but he's kind of like the brute, so he has like the muscle of the group. And then Double D is the smarter one of the group. He's the brains, but he's like really smart, but still hangs out with these 2 that aren't very smart. And it's just fun to see that. Like even like in the newer like seasons, I guess I want to call them the newer episodes, it's still really funny because you know how some shows they just kind of like stop getting funny. But like the newer episodes, those are funny. Like all of them are just funny. It's sad that it went out because it was a hysterical show. And my number one best cartoon of all time is Invader Zim. And I think a lot of people know what I'm talking about when I say Invader Zim. If you don't know, it has Gurr, the little green dog. You've probably seen him before. Me and my little sister will quote this show all the time. And what's about is Zim is an alien from the Urkin Empire, and they basically sent him to Earth because they wanted to get rid of him because he's annoying, and he destroyed their last planet. So they want to get rid of him, so they send him to Earth. They're like, yeah, go take over Earth. So he's supposed to be taking over Earth so he can rule the world, but he's not very smart, and he can't, every time he has a plan, it doesn't work out very well. And then Dib is a schoolboy that's like a paranormal investigator who's trying to show the world that there's an alien on their planet, and nobody ever believes him because he's really annoying. And the joke is that he has a really big head, which he does, and he denies it. This show, it's just funny because Gurr is his little like robot, Zim's robot, and they're trying to like rule the world in such weird ways. Like one way they were trying, I think that I don't even remember. Like they one time got attacked by a bee, and so he had a vengeance against bees, and they just go through such funny and weird conquests that is just hysterical. So I would recommend watching all of these cartoons because I find them hysterical. I'm going to tell you the song of the day, and then I'll let you guys go to listen to some music. So the song of the day, I just shuffled my iPod because I have so many things on there, and play what I find. And the first thing came up is Limp Bizkit, Rollin'. So I'm going to let you guys get back to some music. This is AM Student Radio, the way radio should be.
All right, partner. Keep on rolling, baby. You know what time it is.
This is AM Student Radio, the way radio should be. Anna's still here. How's it going? I'm going to come back with a funny story, because my life is funny. And then we've got some cool music up for you. We got some Pop Evil. And I'll let you guys get back to music. AM Student Radio, the way radio should be.
Roll around in poison ivy?
Radio.
This is AM Student Radio, the way radio should be. I'm going to get you some quick weather really fast. In Windsor, we have 67 degrees, and it's going to rain later today. Fort Lupton, 69 degrees, also going to rain today. Loveland, 70 degrees, also going to rain today. And in Greeley, 69 degrees, and guess what? It's going to rain again today. But the rest of the week, it's not supposed to rain, so that'll be nice. So it's time for my funny story. I have a funny story. I have lots of funny stories because my life is interesting, I guess. This funny story for today is the other day I watched a movie with my family on Netflix, and my mom recommended it, and I'm glad she did because it was great. Running Man has Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, and I know some people aren't a fan of him anymore, but his movies were really good, you have to admit. And this one, I agree, is awesome. This movie was crazy, and it's just weird. I just actually figured out that it was based off of a Stephen King novel, which is awesome because I absolutely love Stephen King. He's a brilliant writer. If you haven't read any of his books, highly recommend you should because they're fabulous. So let me tell you a little bit about Running Man. So basically, Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, it was a police officer. His name in the movie is Ben Richards. So Ben Richards is a police officer, and on one day he's flying in a helicopter, and the mission was to kill like 1,500 people in a group, and they were all innocent people. They didn't have weapons or anything, and they weren't a threat. So, and his boss or whatever who was talking to him was telling him, it's like, well, you have to go on with the operation, and you have to kill these people. And he's like, no, I won't do that. So he resists and doesn't do it. So he gets sent to jail and he's convicted because he got convicted because what the media portrayed is that he actually did kill these people. Also, I have to mention that this movie wasn't 1987, but it was set in the future in 2017. So I find that ironic because that's next year. Anyway, so during, I guess, 2017 in this movie, it was really corrupt. People, like the government that controls literally everything, the media and everything. In the Justice, I think it was funny, in the Justice Department, there's an entertainment sector, which I think was really funny. Anyway, so I'm going to mention more of that later. So he gets wrongly convicted, and he goes to this really, it's almost, I would want to say concentration camp kind of jail. And they manage to escape, so he's trying to, like, live his life and just be out of the way. Since everyone thinks he is a murderer, in the movie they gave him a nickname, I think, like the murderer or something. I don't remember what it was. Something. He's trying to, like, live his new life, and then he's trying to find his brother, but his brother's also in jail, so he ends up in his apartment, and he finds this girl who's living in his brother's old apartment, and so he's like, well, I need your pass so I can travel, because he was going to go to, like, Hawaii or somewhere where someone won't notice him or turn him in. She ends up turning him in, so what happens, instead of him going to jail, he goes on the show called The Running Man. So what the show basically means, the show was, like, it was, like, supposedly the most popular show in this society. So it's a game show where like convicted felons go on and they run through this course trying to survive and not die. So there's like 4 people that are like in this course trying to like kill them, and so he's trying to survive. So they get Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, Ben Richards, and they're like, well, you have to do it or we're going to make your 2 friends that helped you escape out of prison do it. So he's like, okay, fine, I'll do it because I don't want them to do it. They lied and made all 3 of them do it. And then later the girl who turned him in learned that they had been lying about Ben Richards and was trying to help him, so she gets in the show as well. I'm not going to tell you how it ends. It's a really good ending. But they're trying to survive this crazy course where they're trying to live in these... And it's a game show, and these people think it's hysterical and fun to watch these people die, and it's just kind of weird and creepy. Oh, the nickname of Ben Richards was the Butcher of Bakersfield, because that's where it was, I guess. In either case, so this... It's just a crazy movie, and it's actually written really well. I think it has a tiny bit of humor. Every time someone would like die or something exploded or something happened, Arnold Schwarzenegger's character had a really funny joke right after it. I extremely recommend watching this movie. It's on Netflix, so if you have Netflix, go and watch it because it's absolutely fabulous. It has Arnold Schwarzenegger in it, Maria Alonso. Sorry if I said that wrong. Yaphet Kotto, Jim Brown, Jesse Ventura, and a bunch of other really cool people. And it's a weird movie, but it's cool. Just mainly, I thought it's fun for me to watch because I guess next year is 2017. I don't know why I said I guess next year is 2017. It is going to be 2017. So it's just kind of funny to see how they thought the future was going to look. And I love futuristic setting movies because they try to make like things look futuristic when it's not really futuristic, so I just find it funny to watch and see. So that is my funny story of the day. It's kind of not funny, but it's kind of funny anyway. But I would recommend going to see it. It's The Running Man from 1987 with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. Super cool movie. Go watch it. I'm going to get you back to some music. We got some Seether, Shinedown, and Stained coming up for you. And so this is AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be.
Who's to know if your soul will fade out?
This is AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be. I'm near the end of my show, so you can, if you want to listen to me again, I'll be back on Wednesday, same time, 11 to 1. That was My Boo by Ghost Town DJ. We've got some more 90s at noon for you. We have the Fugees, Next, Third Eye Blind, and Semisonic. This is AIM Student Radio, the way radio should be.